here only as stewards of the land for a little while. The land is here always. And so we're just caretakers during our lifetime. And then it passes on to another generation. So we need to leave this land in some sort of useful manner when we leave.
Trout Unlimited's goal across these arid western states is to find partnerships with ranchers to improve the health of ranching operations while we're improving the health of fisheries.
I consider myself a very important steward of the land and a good steward. We run approximately 12,000 sheep now and 125, 30 cattle and a lot of horses. 100% of our income comes off the back of these animals, and it's tough. Our family's been on this piece of property here for over 100 years, and I would hope that, you know, future generations could do the same thing I have. I enjoyed fishing this, 60 years ago when I was a little kid. Most of the landowners I know would be glad to prevent listing of species or to do something on their private ground to benefit a species.
Finding a solution for both ag and fisheries takes some creativity. And Trout Unlimited has an experience of working with ranchers all across the West to come up with that middle ground. The middle ground that not only benefits the ag, but helps the resource of fish and fisheries.
I'm really impressed with Trout Unlimited on this project, and I think a lot of it is the person that I've had to work with.
The project that we're doing with Truman and Julian on Rock Creek will benefit the fishery tremendously by removing barriers out of Rock Creek itself. And Truman will benefit just by the efficiency of his irrigation system when we're complete.
I'm not losing any property rights. I can still control my land. Basically, I'm doing something for the fish that they're helping me doing. They're putting up the money to do it, this project. And I'm benefiting from the project, and so are the fish.
We've been able to consolidate some ditches so that he only has to use one diversion to serve 2 ditches, which replaces his open ditch system with gated pipe. So not only is there fewer barriers and diversions in the river itself, they're more permanent, which requires less maintenance on his end, and the gated pipe allows him to irrigate more efficiently with less amount of water.
Those are gates, you can close them all the way.
I'm not giving up anything. They're not telling me how to irrigate or how much water to use or anything else. The only thing we're doing is saving these fish from going down the ditch, and it's a win-win situation for the public, for myself, and of course the main critter that's being helped here is the vaudeville cutthroat. We can have trout forever, and people can enjoy them forever.
I think technically we're not quite a desert right here, but without irrigation this whole place would dry up and blow away. We bought a small 5-horsepower pump and put into the stream to try to raise hay a little bit more efficiently out on these fields. The side effect of that was we were then able to suck every last drop out of the stream.
Yellowstone cutthroat trout rely on small tributary streams for spawning and rearing for their young. So without those streams and without water in those streams, those cutthroat trout have no way to reproduce.
Stream flows are important, very critical to the balance of nature here in the valley. We need to keep the open lands, the open spaces, keep the ranches viable to maintain not only the fisheries, but the small mammals, the large mammals that we have.
When I was a kid, before the drought, there were a few trout in the stream. Then we started getting into some drought cycles. I wanted to find a way to get the stream reconnected with the Yellowstone. That required 2 things. We had to physically reconnect the stream to the Yellowstone, number 1, and number 2, we had to figure out an alternative water source.
Trout Unlimited partnered with the Murphy Ranch to come up with a design that worked with their ranching operation, and then Trout Unlimited raised the money for that project and the design, and through the restoration we were able to switch the Murphy's irrigation from flood irrigation through a ditch to a sprinkler. And then Trout Unlimited also managed the water rights aspects of that, making sure that the Murphy's senior water rights off of Fridley Creek were not abandoned.
And in the end, what we got was we got a big problem on our ranch turned into a big plus. We got the creek reconnected to the river. We got a deep water well drilled. We got pipelines installed, and we got 2 nice micro pivots. Those are at least 10 times more efficient than that flood irrigation was. Basically, we just flip a switch. The pump that's down in the well turns on and pressurizes the pivots, and the fields are irrigated. Since we got the pivots 2 years ago, the fields are at least 10 times more productive, and we can grow enough forage that we can actually graze cattle up here in the summer, and we never could do that before. I remember that day I went and looked at it first, and then I came home and got Dad, and then we went over and looked at it, and he was kind of like a kid at the Christmas tree or something. He didn't want to come home. He was just standing there looking at it and looking at it. And then I saw the Fridley Creek running into the Yellowstone for the first time since the 30s. It was just a thrill. It looks like a happy little babbling brook. It was finished exactly when cutthroat spawned. The next spring, Fish, Wildlife, and Parks came back out, and they found baby cutthroats about 1.5 inches long. It was just almost like Mother Nature was out there waiting for all these pieces to fall into place, and we were just here to help a little bit, and it was just great. Every day that I'm here on the ranch, I go look at it. Every day, winter and summer. We're only here for an eye blink of history. 1,000 years from now, I really hope the cutthroat are still using that.
Trout Unlimited has been around as an organization of fly fishermen and anglers for much longer than most of the environmental laws have been here. And that means that Trout Unlimited's experience in restoring streams and working with landowners goes back many generations and generations of fishing stories. And what we want to do is make sure that the generations to come are able to tell fishing stories as well.